Every jutsu in the shinobi world requires hand seals, sometimes 40 of them in perfect order. The slightest mistake meant failure.
I don't use a single one. No seals, no gestures. I just think it, and it happens.
Yamato, front and center. Show us the clone jutsu, if you can even manage it.
His hands moved through the seals, but his fingers wouldn't lock. Chakra refused to flow.
Stop. You are wasting everyone's time. Without hand seals, you are nothing. A shinobi who can't form seals isn't a shinobi at all.
The other students snickered. Yamato walked out, his fists white-knuckled. The instructor's voice chased him.
My hands never moved. I didn't even try. How is this possible? No seals, no hand signs, just my will, and the leaf obeyed.
That night, Yamato tested his forbidden gift. He didn't need seals. The water obeyed his thought alone. Months passed. Yamato's record remained spotless. No missions, no promotions, but in secret, he'd turned his defect into a weapon.
Fire, water, earth. I don't move a muscle. The jutsu just happens.
He learned to keep his hands buried in his pockets. Whenever other shinobi were near, he'd slouch, feigning disinterest.
One slip, one witness. They'd call it a freak mutation, or worse.
The taunts followed him, but one afternoon, Koji cornered him alone.
Hey, zero talent. Still pretending you belong here? I heard you begged the Academy for remedial seal training.
Don't react. Smile and walk away. Just catching some air, Koji. See you around.
That evening, a tournament notice fluttered on the board. Yamato stared at it for a long time.
If I am ever going to prove them wrong, I'll have to step into the light.
The tournament began. Yamato advanced with ease, his hands twitching through half-formed seals while each jutsu bloomed perfectly.
Keep the hands moving. Make them see what they expect. They can't know the truth.
In the stands, Koji's eyes narrowed. There was no pause between techniques.
Look at his hands. Those aren't real seals. How is he controlling his chakra?
The semi-finals. Yamato versus Koji. The moment the proctor stepped back, the crowd leaned forward. Koji flew through 40 hand seals in a blur, sweat stinging his eyes, chakra crackling like thunder.
Too fast to fake it. If I don't stop him, I am dead.
Yamato's hands never left his pockets. A dragon of fire erupted from nothing, roaring toward Koji. The dragon swallowed Koji's jutsu whole. The arena went dead silent. Yamato stood amid the smoke, hands still in pockets. Whispers rose. Somebody called for the elders. Yamato was dragged from the arena to the council chamber. Elder Hiroshi sat in shadow, his cold eyes fixed on him.
You used no hand seals. That is forbidden. Where did you learn such corruption? Seal-less casting is not a gift. It is a demonic taint. Those who wield it become monsters. You are a danger to the village.
He's lying. I've never felt more in control. But why are they so afraid?
They threw him into a holding cell deep beneath the council hall. No windows, no light, just cold stone.
I am not a monster. But if they won't listen, what chance do I have?
Hours later, a soft footstep echoed. A young woman in researcher robes appeared at the cell door. Without a word, she slipped a folded paper through the bars and vanished. The note read, "You are not a curse, you are original."
Who was she? And what did she know?
That night, the lock clicked. Sora stood outside with keys, her expression urgent.
Follow me. I'll explain everything once we're away from here.
Why are you risking your life for me?
Because you are not a curse. You are the proof they tried to erase. Hand seals were never the origin of Jutsu.
She led him through tunnels into a hidden chamber lined with ancient scrolls.
This is the first sage's true archive. The elders hid it centuries ago to protect their power over who could be a shinobi.
The scroll held hundreds of names crossed out in red, Sealless shinobi they murdered.
I created hand seals to limit your chakra, to keep you obedient.
If we don't expose this, the elders will erase us like them.
Then we'll tear down their lie in front of the entire village. No more hiding.
A wall of the archive shattered. Elder Hiroshi stood in the rubble, flanked by Anbu assassins.
I see you found our little secret. Yes, we kill the sealless, every single one, for 2 centuries. It's the only way to keep order. Join the council, keep the secret and live, refuse and die with the researcher.
After killing hundreds, they want me to become their executioner. I'll never be your weapon.
The Anbu lunged, but Yamato's will was faster. Water whips cracked the air, earth spikes erupted from the stone. Hiroshi slipped through the chaos, his voice echoing, "The entire council will bury you before dawn."
They'll block every road. We have to run now.
Running won't change anything. I have to stand in the light they fear most. We're going to the village square, now.
Dawn painted the village square in shades of gray. Yamato walked into the center, Sora a step behind.
Elders of the village, I stand here to tear down your centuries-old lie. Face me.
The council emerged from the shadows, Hiroshi at the front, Anbu fanning out behind them.
Seize the traitor.
Hand seals were invented to control you. The first sage created them to limit chakra, not to unlock it.
Whispers rippled through the crowd. Some villagers shook their heads. Others clenched their fists.
For 200 years, they murdered every child born without the need for seals, my kind.
Anbu lunged. Fire and water exploded around Yamato, but his voice never wavered.
Lies. Kill him now.
But some shinobi lowered their weapons. The elder's authority cracked, if only for a moment. Elder Hiroshi's hands flashed through 40 forbidden seals. A writhing dragon of dark chakra coiled above him, screaming,
Your bloodline ends here, freak. Oblivion.
Yamato didn't flinch. A shield of light erupted from his mind. No seals, no sound, just will.
This is the proof. Hand seals were never necessary. They were a cage. Stop fighting and see the truth.
The council members stared, frozen. Their most powerful art had been nullified by silence.
Every last one of you. Strike him down or face the council's wrath.
But more shinobi stepped back, their hands falling to their sides. They would not be murderers.
I have the evidence. Signed execution orders for every sealless child for 2 centuries.
The crowd's murmur turned to a roar. Villagers snatched the scrolls, reading them aloud with growing horror. Hiroshi stood alone on the platform. His allies shrank back, their grip on power slipping away. Elder Hiroshi activated the final seal, a forbidden technique to drain every ounce of chakra from the square.
If I cannot rule, then none of you are worthy of chakra.
Yamato's will surged outward. A dome of pure light enveloped the crowd, severing the elder's grip.
You won't strip anyone of their power. This tyranny ends now.
He turned his focus to the council hall. The ancient seal stones, symbols of their authority, cracked and exploded. The remaining elders threw down their staffs. Kneeling in the dust, their reign was over. Former Anbu guards moved forward, binding Hiroshi's arms behind his back.
It's over. The whole village can see the truth now.
From this day forward, no child will ever be hunted for being born without seals.
The crowd's roar was not victory. It was the sound of 2 centuries of grief, finally released. In the days that followed, the Academy tore down its old doctrine. Sora oversaw the first lesson without seals. A 7-year-old girl held her breath. A tiny flame flickered to life above her palm. No seals, no gestures, just will. The curriculum was rewritten. For the first time, sealless children were welcomed, not hunted.
This is what I fought for. But this village isn't my home anymore. You've rebuilt everything. They need you here, not me.
Without you, none of this would exist. Don't you want to stay and see it grow?
I am a symbol now of rebellion, of fear. If I stay, the village will always look to me, not to themselves.
At dawn, he stood at the village gate, a single pack slung over his shoulder. His hands slipped from his pockets for the first time. Free, he walked forward, toward the next hidden village, carrying the truth that would shatter their cages too. Far from the village Yamato left, another sun rose over a riverside settlement. The boy stood at the edge of the training ground, watching older shinobi fumble through 40 seals. He didn't know why, but the need for so many signs felt wrong to him. Without thinking, he just wanted the pebble by his foot to move, and it did. His eyes flickered a faint orange, just for a heartbeat. Then it vanished. In a nearby field, a girl touched a dying flower. Bloomed. No seals. The same orange light glimmered in her eyes, then faded. Yamato was miles away, but the truth he carried had already begun to outrun him. Hand seals were never the origin of Jutsu. Just the cage the first sage built. And now, after 2 centuries of silence, children everywhere were beginning to remember. But far beneath the shattered council hall, something stirred. The seal stones had not been mere symbols. They were locks. In his cell, Elder Hiroshi laughed, a broken sound. He whispered to no one. They never knew what they were guarding. A tremor rolled through the village. The ground split near the old archive, revealing a hidden stairway leading down into darkness. Sora descended alone, her torch revealing walls covered in forbidden seals, not to limit chakra, but to contain something far worse.
This isn't just an archive, it's a prison. And those seal stones were the last key.
She read the ancient script. Beneath this hall sleeps the void touched, a beast that feeds on intent unbound by seals. Break the stones and you break the world. In the distance, Yamato felt a cold pulse through the earth. His orange eyes flared involuntarily, and he knew the cage was breaking.
What have I done? The elders weren't just murderers, they were jailers. And I gave the monster the key.
The victory he had won was built on a lie within a lie. And now the real enemy was stirring, fed by every new sealless child awakening across the land.
I can't walk away. The stones were the lock, and I shattered them. This is my mess to fix.
He ran faster than he ever had, the pulse in the ground quickening under his feet. Sora burst from the underground stairs, shouting a warning, as black mist seeped through every crack.
Kill the sealless. Fools? We were protecting the world. Now the void touched will feast on their pure intent.
In a distant field, the flower girl's eyes flared orange, and for a heartbeat, a shadow passed behind her, drinking the light.
There's more. The script says only one who walks both paths, seal and sealless, can reseal the beast, and it will cost everything.
Yamato crashed through the village gate, just as the ground split open in the square.
Sora, what does it say? How do I stop it?
You have to become the new lock. Use every bit of your will, but the beast will fight to consume you first.
And from the abyss, a claw of living darkness erupted, and every sealless child in the village screamed in unison. Yamato didn't hesitate. He leaped between the claw and the children, his will flaring into a shield of orange fire.
This thing feeds on our freedom. I won't let it take them.
From the abyss, a voice like grinding stone echoed, "You dare offer yourself? Your will is the sweetest feast of all."
You want pure intent, then take mine. Let them go, and I'll become your cage.
No. The scroll says once bound, your soul will be trapped with it. No one has ever returned.
Yamato turned to her, and for a heartbeat, the fierce glow in his eyes softened.
I spent my whole life trying to belong. This is where I finally do. Tell them I chose this.
He pressed both hands to the ground, and ancient seal marks seared up his arms like white-hot chains. The void touched howled, tendrils of darkness wrapping around him. "Fool, you are now my prison, and I your eternal warden." The seal flared bright, then pulled tight. The ground stilled. The children's screams stopped. All that remained was silence, and the faint, steady pulse of a living lock. Sora fell to her knees beside the glowing circle, pressing her palm flat against the warm earth. Beneath it, a heartbeat thrummed, steady, stubborn, alive.
He's still in there. Not gone. Just fighting from the inside.
Villagers slowly gathered around the seal. Some wept openly. Others knelt and bowed their heads. The silence was heavier than any victory roar. Elder Hiroshi, dragged from his cell, stared at the seal with hollow eyes. His laughter had died. All that was left was a broken old man in chains. For a moment, the pulse of the seal deepened, and a whisper, barely audible, rushed through the crowd like wind. Through the seal, Yamato's voice echoed, thin but unbroken. "I will hold it for all of you."
Then I'll be here, every day, researching, learning, until I find a way to free you without breaking the world.
In the months that followed, the Academy taught both paths, seal and sealless, side by side. Children no longer hid their orange eyes. The story of the boy who became a cage spread beyond the village. Some called him a legend, others a cautionary tale, but all knew his name, and deep within the lock, Yamato faced the void touched in an endless vigil. His eyes never dimmed, his will never broke. In a forgotten chamber beneath the academy, Sora found a scroll wrapped in black silk. Its title was The Last Key. The ritual required a pure will, a sealless child's lifeblood, to reinforce the lock for another century. She tried to hide the truth, but Yamato's awareness in the seal had grown sharp. He felt her heart stumble.
I can hear the guilt in your steps, Sora. Don't even think it. I didn't become this cage to trade one life for another.
Before she could argue, the ground shuddered. A hairline crack split the seal's surface, and black mist curled upward like a reaching hand.
It's weakening faster than I thought. If we don't reinforce it now, the beast will break free within a moon.
Then I'll tighten the lock with everything I have left. My memories, my hopes, my very name. Send me no more light. I'll become the dark's keeper alone.
The seal blazed to blinding white. For a single breath, the crack sealed, and the mist was pulled back into the abyss with a mournful shriek. When the light faded, the seal was silent. No pulse, no whisper, just cold, unyielding stone etched with the shape of a boy.
I will tear apart every archive, break every seal, and find another way. I swear it on your sacrifice.
In the deepest layer of the archive, Sora uncovered a hidden appendix to the last key. Its ink was blood red, its words a confession. The seal was never meant to last. It fed on the jailer's will, consuming memory, hope, and identity. Yamato's soul would dissolve into silence within a year. She confronted the new council in the square, voice cracking. "We have less than a year. He's fading. We have to find another way."
The oldest manuscripts speak of another, a vessel with a will pure enough to calm the beast, a mirror to the jailer's defiance.
You are talking about a child, aren't you? Someone untouched by your hunters. I won't let you turn my sacrifice into another bargain.
A tremor split the ground again. Black mist erupted in a plume before the seal reasserted itself, visibly dimmer.
I found something else. The appendix mentions a mirror will, a sealless child whose pure acceptance could harmonize with your defiance. It could be enough.
She stared at a list of names recovered from Hiroshi's office, a registry of sealless births across the region. One entry glowed faintly, as if waiting.
If I find this child, I am leading them to the cage. Either they share his prison, or he dies alone.
She stepped out of the archive into the pale moonlight, the scroll tight in her hand. The choice was not yet made, but the journey had begun. Sora found the child on the coast, a sealless girl whose trembling hands never formed a sign, yet made the sea spray form arcs without a gesture.
She listened to me for a whole night. Then she said yes, not because I convinced her, but because she'd already been waiting for someone to need her.
The child knelt by the cold stone, her hand pressed flat against Yamato's etched outline. Warmth bloomed beneath her fingers, a heartbeat answering her own.
I can feel you, so small, and yet your will is like morning light. Are you sure you'd chain that light to my shadow?
She didn't speak aloud, but through the link, her answer echoed. Pure, absolute acceptance. No fear, no bargain. Just the simple will to share a burden. Her will flowed into the lock, a mirror to his defiance. Two opposites, acceptance and struggle, harmonized. The seal drank the light and reforged itself. The void touched roared, a sound that shook the village walls. Then, abruptly, it was swallowed by a wave of blinding gold. Silence. The seal was whole. Not cold stone, but warm, pulsing like a living heart, and within 2 heartbeats, steady and synchronized.
He's not alone. Her acceptance is anchoring his defiance. They'll hold each other upright until the world no longer needs their cage.
From the seal rose 2 voices, woven together, one weathered like old stone, one bright as dawn. We will hold. For all of you, the crowd knelt, not in fear, but awe. The seal's golden pulse became the village's second sunrise.
I'll remain as chronicler. The archive is now open to every child, seal or sealless. No more secrets.
The council sentenced Elder Hiroshi publicly. His life was left as a reminder. Forever in chains, the very symbol he used to bind the innocent.
They're building something new out there. I can feel their hope from in here.
Beside him, the child's thoughts flowed like gentle waves. They didn't need words. Together, they were the lock among the forgotten scrolls. Sora found a letter sealed by the first sage himself. The letter read, "I built the cage to save you from the void, but I forgot to give you the key. Forgive me."
Tell him. We already have. The lock is now a door, and it opens from both sides.
They never destroyed the seal. They didn't need to. It became the village's heart, where 2 souls turned darkness into light forever. And in the farthest village, a new generation learned. Hand seals were never the origin of chakra. Just the cage, and every child was born with the key. Children gathered around the living seal, pressing their small palms to the warm stone. Their orange eyes flickered in rhythm with the light.
I thought strength came from perfect seals, but they're stronger than I ever was, and they don't lift a finger.
From this day forward, every child will know. You are not broken. You are the original.
Among the texts, a faint image of the first sage appeared, no longer burdened, and faded with a nod of peace. Inside the lock, Yamato leaned against the void. That was the child at his side. 2 shadows turned to light.
No more cages, just doors, and we'll keep them open.
At the academy, the old instructor stood before a new kind of class, half forming seals, half simply sitting, all equally awed. He closed his lesson book. The words on the cover said, "Seals, the only path," a title he would never speak again. Across the land, old seal barriers crumbled, not from attack, from within. They were no longer needed. The cage was never broken. It was opened, and anyone willing to share the key could walk through. Seasons turned, but the seal never dimmed. Its light became a constant, a warm golden star at the village center. A young boy, no older than Yamato had once been, paused before it. His orange eyes weren't hidden. They shone with quiet pride. He raised a hand, and without a single seal, a blossom of fire bloomed above his palm, tiny, perfect, and free. He whispered a name he'd learned from the scrolls. The wind carried it through the square, and the seal pulsed once in answer. Sora, now gray-haired but sharp-eyed, watched from the archive window. A smile touched her lips. She closed another ledger. Inside the lock, the 2 souls rested, not as prisoners, but as guardians of the threshold. Together, they had become the key, and in every village where a child looked at their hands and simply willed the world to move, his story was there, a quiet companion. He had not just broken the cage, he had shown them that the door was always there, waiting to be opened. The age of hand seals did not end. It simply became a choice, not a chain. And far away, in a village that was once a cage, two heartbeats echoed as one, reminding the world that some locks are meant to be shared. In time, no one whispered the name Yamato in fear. They spoke it like a prayer, a reminder of a door once locked. Children who would have been hunted now led the academy. Their hands rested at their sides, and the world bent gently to their will. Sora finished her final entry in the true history. She set the brush down and looked out at the seal, still glowing. Inside, Yamato sat beside the child, their forms now indistinguishable from the light. No more shadows.
I spent so long looking for a place to belong. It was never a place. It was a promise.
He taught us that strength isn't about how fast you weave signs. It's about how deeply you trust your will.
Elder Hiroshi's chains remained, a cold monument. Children placed flowers there, not for him but for the ones before. The great seal barriers that once divided the land were now gardens, their stones carved with a single word, open. And in the end, every jutsu in the world still worked. But the choice was no longer a chain. It was a breath. I don't use a single one. I just think it, and it happens.